Well, to those that have just joined, welcome. We're glad to have you on our Mastermind call today. Today we have the opportunity of learning from Bill Predebon. This is a great guy. He brings a great attitude and lots of experience, a wealth of experience. And it comes from a background of entrepreneurship, of real estate investing, of marketing, and just combining the best of everything. And I'm excited to hear today. He's going to tell us what it takes to make a $40,000 a month payday, right? At any rate, without any further ado, let's welcome Bill Predebon. Bill, how are you this morning?
Ron, good morning, my friend.
Good morning.
Excellent. So you can hear me okay?
Can hear you great. You bet.
Well, that's always a positive to get things started and kicked off. Right on. Well, thanks again for the introduction and helping me put this together. I know you're not feeling 100% this morning. So again, behind the scenes, you do awesome things, even when you're not 100%. So I really appreciate it, my friend. Thank you for all you do. Cool. Welcome, everyone. Good morning. Let your folks know if you've got your team or you've got some friends that, sometimes always aren't on these calls. I would highly recommend you, let them know that they can jump on these calls and these in this webinar and whatnot. I remember, I don't know how long it's been since they've been doing this. I would bet it's at least, I don't remember when they started these calls, but I remember getting on them from forever ago. And, I've been around, as you guys know, for quite a while. And I still get on whatever opportunities I can to listen to other people doing things that I want to do, which brings us into our training, I guess. So I'm going to piece this whole thing together today and this morning for you guys. I will type up in the chat. Let's see. Let me open that up so I can say hi to you guys and send out my phone number there. Good morning. 760-533-3141. 760-533-3141. That's my cell number. If anybody needs it, I put it in the chat. So as you guys know, and girls, welcome. If you have anything that's pressing, any questions or anything you're working on specifically, Michael did a pretty amazing training with yesterday with following up for the funding for this for the next 2 weeks to get your orders funded, so that you can get credit for them and get paid in the year of 2018. And, so if there's something that's specific that you're working on that you're struggling with, or that you got a question on, just chat it in, no matter what it's pertaining to, regardless of my topic. I'll be more than happy to address it and try to mastermind around it. And a lot of times people chat in or whatever too as well, and give you some good advice from their experiences. So it's always a good way to kick things off or to generate some conversation. So, and I alluded to it a couple times over the last couple trainings I've done, but it's a pretty exciting month for me. I think in my back office, in my commissions earned this month, I'm at 38,600. If I haven't checked it yet today, and then today all my UGA students will obviously pay me. They pay us on UGA, gets paid after the 15th, whatever Tuesday or Friday falls after the 15th. So it's once a month. So that'll be a little bit more cash. And then I've got a what do I have? I got a full combo extreme order in, and that's waiting still, trying to get the funding. And then I have an AIT advanced combo that'll fund within this week. And then I have an essentials I placed from a guy, a warm market guy, who's reached out to me on Facebook, and then he actually I've known him a long time, and then something came up and he backed out, so he's not going to fund his education, even though he signed for it. But maybe some other time. That happens all the time. But anyway, Ron, we were talking about what we were going to talk about today, and I had a couple topics in mind, but I think this is the whole reason we do it, not the money, but to have the culmination of the success of all the hard work, because we do so much work. I don't know if work's the right word, but we put in a lot of effort. We start, when we fund our own combos, as you guys know, that's simply the beginning. We just are getting started. We haven't even done anything yet necessarily, other than the biggest steps, which are make the decision and commit and decide to do, right? So, and our actions speak louder than our words by committing the 20 grand. And so, then we start to kick off a campaign, and we don't know how long it's going to take. And as Michael said, and Christian, it's, you never stop. like, when you have a $10,000 a month and you get 5-star qualified, I just had 3 folks on my team get 5-star qualified this month. And it's a lot of work, right? So you go through, getting the leads, and then following up and scheduling 3 ways with me, and then, or your 5-star affiliate for yourself, and scheduling one-on-ones and going through people that are going to get funded. And then before they fund, they quit and they fall off and they stop taking your calls, and the frustrations, and you're going to, dozens and dozens of meetings and briefings and epics and study groups, and you're studying the education, and you're putting in the work, you're putting in the time, and then you get 5-star qualified, or 1-star qualified, or you have your first combo sale as an affiliate, as a I am ITA, even in training, and but that's the beginning. It's still the beginning. When you're 5-star qualified, it's now time to really start making money and building a team and duplicating the process that you just learned for the last however long it took you to get 5-star. So, for those of you on the call that are not 5-star qualified, and I'm more than happy as questions come in, if you guys have them, to dive into the how or the exact specifics of something. But I'm going to talk more in generalities today, a little bit about, the theory and the concept of a $40,000 a month, and along the road and what that looks like in my experience, right? But if you're not 5-star qualified yet, or you're just getting started, or you've gotten started recently, I can tell you, and I know a lot of you on this call have heard this before, but the fastest way to 5-star qualification is warm market, 100%. And it is a do not think kind of action. It is one where you express an overwhelming enthusiasm as to the new direction you're taking. And for a lot of us, it's a difficult thing, right? You try to tell someone something that you're not familiar with. You don't really know how to sell it. You don't know how to talk to them about it. You don't know how to ask questions. You don't know how to create that curiosity and things like that. But these are your friends and family and your coworkers and people you've known a while, and people that trust you and believe in you and things like that. So we forget about that part of it. And typically by the time they see the information, it's no longer about you, and it's all about what's in it for them, the with them principle, right? And what they're looking to get out of something they're looking for. And soon enough, it will, the information will speak for itself, and the presenters and the leaders in front of the room, and the stories and the testimonies will embalm himself, and the product will sell itself. And you simply have to put them through a system. And I know many people have had warm market go through the system that don't enroll, and that's okay. That's absolutely okay. Let's see, we got a question. Can you provide a segment of today's call on putting a plan together to buy a home one is renting with zero personal credit? Wow, that's an interesting question. I mean, it really has nothing to do with marketing, Ulani. And it's a very long question. She says, put a plan together to buy a home. Putting a plan together to buy a home doesn't take a lot of time, in my opinion. Let's see. The marketing approach to investors. So take it a step further on how to approach angel investors to fund a 501c3 structures, buildings that are well, I don't even know. I've never done that. So I can't answer that question there. Which is one thing that's always good. If you guys don't know, always tell people you don't know, and then go out and find the answer, I guess, or point them in the right direction. It's very broad, but we'd like to understand the first steps outside of the online education modules. I think that I always tell people when it comes to education, you guys, and what we offer at Renatus is that no matter if you're watching the 10-step or if you're watching your education, obviously there's always questions you're going to have, and write them down, right? So if you're listening to it at the gym or in the car or whatever, it's hard to write stuff down and you're not paying attention. You got things going through your mind. And so it's good. It's good to get the repetitiveness of having that being played in the background when you're doing other things. But when you really want to study the education, like when I went to school with Renatus in the very beginning, the first 2 years, it was all live, as you guys remember. So I was fortunate in that way that I was forced to be at the class and pay attention and take notes, because I didn't have a choice. Like I couldn't go back to it next week or next day or next hour and restudy it. So I wasn't forced to have self-discipline to watch it. I had to go when they were offering it, or I didn't get it. So it was a feast or famine type thing. With you guys, and now in the way we deliver the education, it's more convenient. It's more conducive. It's more powerful. It's greater in all aspects, but it also requires you to actually sit down at some point and study it uninterrupted, turn everything off, and spend an hour at a time or more, and watch the class honestly, and take notes, and download your workbook and listen to it. But I also like to encourage people to implement, to write down implementation action steps, right? For every module you watch, you should be writing down something that you need to do to help implement the strategy that you're studying. When it comes to buying a home with zero credit and personal money and all that stuff, I mean, that's simply one class. I mean, I guess when you simplify it, I mean, there's obviously more classes. You've got to study the negotiations class for sure. You're going to study the creative acquisitions class. You're going to study the private and hard money class, I guess. And, business partnership class with Matt Sorensen, the legal side of things. But, the number one thing is that you have to get the word out there. And you have to let people know that you're looking for property. And then the deal will present itself. And once the deal presents itself, then you can go back to the classes according to how that deal is going to look like it's going to end up being structured. There is such a thing as a reverse wholesale, if you want to call it that, where you're looking for property after you've already got the buyer. But that's a very specific strategy. In my opinion, in my experience of over 125 deals that I've done, the strategy the deal comes and it's unique. Every deal is unique in how you buy it and structure it. And especially when it comes to buying a home creatively, using little or no money, doing subject to or owner financing, lease options, wraps, things like that. When you start to add in several different strategies to acquire a single property, it's a very unique deal, and you can't really plan for it necessarily. You just have to understand it. But in my opinion, in anything we do, you guys, with Renatus, you do not have to have all the education to get the deal. Get the deal and then figure out. That's what when the community comes in. And you've got my cell phone number. I can't imagine there's not a, I don't always have a lot of people have reached out to me about raising private money, and not how to do it, but if I know anybody who has it. But if you reach out to me, and that's not always easy for me to do, and a lot of the private money that I raise is allocated. It's already going somewhere. I'm already using it. And so I don't pass it on necessarily, if that makes sense. But when people in my group here in Arizona and stuff like that, and they reach out to me about things they're working on, there's typically not much that I haven't experienced already and I can't answer for you, or give you an example of, or share some insight with, and then you can turn around and be able to go make your own decision on how you want to proceed. So as the deal comes, you can figure it out later. You've heard me say this, well, maybe you haven't, but I say this all the time. I constantly say yeah to any opportunity that comes along when it comes to real estate and stuff like that. And then I figure out how to either say no later or how to do it later, including funding it. I've bought many properties with no money and no credit, and no, not even having the money in the works even. But I've signed on the dotted line and then gone out and found the money. So anyway, I hope that helps, but that's a really long, that's a pretty loaded question. So it's hard to answer in this. So as far as back to what we were talking about, but thank you for the questions, you guys. I think it makes a lot of sense to ask them. If you're, like I said, if you're not 5-star qualified, step number one to a $40,000 a month is getting there, as you know. But in my opinion, it's just ignorance on fire. It is literally just telling people about what you've embarked on. And I'm not going to go into a bunch of specifics on what to say necessarily, unless your question comes up. But if you're not taking advantage of your warm market in the way that we're taught by Bob and the leadership in writing a list down and approaching them, just inviting them to some extent, I think you're missing out. I think it's a longer road to get qualified through street signs and Craigslist. When I got started, as you know, I literally wrote down a small list, and I had 12 people in the first, couple of months that I was marketing, and 4 out of those 12 enrolled in the education, and they weren't friends or family. I had just moved to Arizona in 2006. And this was 2008. So, these were people that I had met in 2006, 6 or 2007. And they were inside my, getting my real estate license and becoming a loan officer. And that's who the people were, or my friends in my new neighborhood that I just moved into. Those were the people that I enrolled. They were new, warm market. They were not old family or anything like that. In fact, none of my friends from Colorado, from my ski days, enrolled, and nobody from San Diego until later. I actually had one of my business partners from my Play It Again Sports stores enroll, but it was much later. They were all new, warm market. And if you are 5-star qualified, the minute here's a good question. Let's see. What if your warm market is not interested in real estate? Well. Okay, so that's a good question. Okay. So every person in your warm market is going to be different and not every person in your warm market is going to want to go. And like any type of marketing we do, whether it's warm market or cold market, obviously we have to ask the question about and create that intrigue and create that curiosity. So, I mean, if you are saying, what if your warm market is not interested in real estate? I'm going to assume that's your whole entire family and your friends. And so, then we have to go down a different route, right? There's other things we offer besides real estate, which would be financial freedom, work from home, time freedom, paying off debt, as we all know, an at-home business, making extra money on the side, taking advantage of tax strategies, creating a retirement account, things like this, right? So we'd have to find out if they're interested in any of those things, or if they ever think about any of those things, right? And so if you remember the story Michael told when he first got started and he went to that Thanksgiving thing with family, and he was sitting down to someone he didn't know that well, and it was on Vanessa's side. I think it was a cousin or something like that, or a brother, and he started talking to him about taxes, if you guys remember. And he was brand new really to Renatus and the marketing side of things. And so, that was he had to create that. He had to ask those questions about something that the guy was possibly interested in. Maybe your warm market has children and they want to be interested in teaching their children about finance, and perhaps they want to teach them about work ethic, and then they might want to hire them. So they have to have a business and then establish a family management company in order to pay them and not have to have a tax return and all that stuff, like Mark Kohler teaches. So they can have that write-off, but they have to start a business first, and then they have to create a family management plan to pay them, a management company. So you're welcome, Manuel, for sure. I hope that helps. So, you've heard Michael and Christian and the leaders talk about this too in your territory, is that, if your warm market isn't interested in real estate and isn't interested in coming to Renatus, then you have to create new warm market. It's hard to believe that everybody in your phone and on your Facebook is not interested in real estate. Typically 2.5 people, even in today's day and age, in most of our markets that we're in, Denver, Utah, Colorado, I just said that, Las Vegas, Seattle, Northern California, these territories that Elevate's in that we're on this call, they are booming territories. Arizona, they are Hawaii, they are, up and down markets, and they move. And so people are very familiar with the possibility of making money in real estate. And most people are interested in real estate. Especially in our markets, because of the volatile market, the opportunity for fast advancement in appreciation. Let's see. Bill, I've got a marketing question. Okay, yeah, please ask the question. Let's see. Can I speak it though? I think it'll be faster. Yeah, man, come off mute. I don't think I've got you muted. I hope.
No, no, you didn't. I just had to make sure that you could hear me. That's all.
Yeah, please do.
Hey, man.
Yep.
I was wondering, I have a list of old leads that I'm going through that I've gotten better with Renatus, and, I understand Renatus a lot more. And, I'm getting some traction with these leads, but I'm realizing that the difference between these leads that are new and fresh that have called my signs, as opposed to the ones that are old and have called my signs a year ago, is that I have to come at them a different way. So being that I have to come at them a different way, the conversation is a little bit longer. How would you say the best way is to keep the conversation, 8 minutes or less, like our normal calls with the new fresh leads?
It's a great question. So this is awesome. So number one is always remember, it is easier to give birth than raise the dead, right? So I've been told that by mentors of mine and coaches for years. So that just simply means new blood, new interest, new people are going to be faster, stronger, better than old. Now, I use old lists. I carry them with me in my briefcase everywhere I go. I have it on my desk every freaking day. And every once in a while I get to them. And I even put it on my list in my car or my truck when I'm driving. And if I have downtime, I call them. And so they're a filler spot, these old leads. And what I do with my old leads is I pretend like they just called last week. So it's the same routine and it's the same questions, but I pretend like they just called me. So typically it's like, even if I'm leaving a message or if they answer, then I'm right back to it first. Hey man, this is Bill. You and I spoke not that long ago, and we talked about real estate investing. You actually answered one of my ads on Craigslist. And do you have a few minutes? Is now a good time? Yeah, I don't really remember talking to you, but okay. I'm like, great. I just real quick, are you still interested in real estate? I mean, when you and I spoke before, and I might make half this stuff up. When you and I spoke before, you told me you were really looking to get into real estate, but you just didn't really have the right network. Are you still looking at real estate? Did you find a network to work with? Yeah, I think I remember. Yeah. No, I'm still looking. I haven't really done anything yet. And then I go right into my spiel, right? I want to find a pain point. I want to find something that why they're not doing any real estate. And then I'll provide a solution if they come to the event. And so I still try not to make it a long conversation. And I actually pretend like I spoke to them not that long ago.
I like that. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Absolutely.
All right, perfect. I appreciate that. Thank you, Bill.
Yeah, you got it, man, for sure. Thanks for the question. Mark here says, how many of your sales are people just interested in the marketing side? I've never seen anyone sell on just that side of your business, and how and when to sell Renatus marketing. Okay, so Mark, here's you guys what I got on this is it depends on how you market. Now in Arizona, I market mainly for real estate because I'm into real estate, and I find that I get more real estate leads, people that are interested in real estate. What's interesting about real estate is that most people, after a little bit of time, realize they also need money that are interested in real estate, and they'll do the marketing anyway. But you can easily market specifically to at-home business people or people that want to make money. I really, really love, if you didn't make 10 grand last month, call me. And it doesn't mean 10 grand in a month. So I'm not breaking that compliant rule. It doesn't mean it's not that I said I made $10,000. So I'm not giving an example without disclosure, right? Or anything like that. It's simply to an A personality or a director or whatever that they talk about in the drive. And maybe, what's the other one? Not a director, but DRIVE. Anyway, there's 2 out of the 5 that come off of that. In my opinion, you could put that on the back of your car. You could put it on your street sign or on your Craigslist ad. And my buddy used to have a Mercedes, and he put on 20 grand a month, right? If you didn't make 20K last month, call me. So that specifically marks someone maybe who's not interested in real estate, but they're interested in a business that's going to generate them. So you're talking about loan officers, real estate agents, top salespeople, things like that you can market to on the business. And of course, you've got to go through the disclosures when you talk to them about the business, and you've got, if you're going to share testimonies on business income, then you've got to, share the averages and the first year averages and all those things to stay in compliance right away when you start to talk about that. But our compensation plan is very, very powerful. And so your follow-up video before getting them to a meeting might be the earnings plan video, right? And so they can see that. So, but I find without a doubt, my experience has been that the real estate marketing for people interested in real estate is a faster and gets more leads than people just for a business and just for sales. I hope that helps. So most of my people are, and you will find, I will find, and you'll find, I think that, you will get some retail sales. Half the people, and I think this is for anybody's business, half the people that enroll in Renatus, don't even enroll as an IMA, I think. I don't quote me on that, but I would say even some of my IMAs that are IMAs are strictly interested in real estate. And they, in fact, don't attend the meetings very often, and they are a retail sale. There's nothing wrong with a retail sale, originally I was going to be a retail sale. The only reason I'm not a retail sale, and what I mean by retail sale is that I needed damn money fast. And it was taking too long after my first wholesale deal to get any real estate money going. And I was going to the meetings because I knew that going to the meetings, I would meet more real estate people. But I also found out that people at the meetings were making money, and I didn't know really how. So that's when I started asking around about the marketing thing and found out that you could really make a crap ton of money in the marketing. So I was converted through the back door, as everybody says. So I think that's what you'll find. But you'll also find that a lot of people are retail sales, and that's fine. And someday they might come back around. So I hope that helps with the marketing. I find that more of my sales are marketing, and half of my sales are warm market, and my team's worth warm market, and half of my sales are Craigslist. Literally. Okay, so Keely says, what I say is, you had called one of my signs regarding REI, real estate investing, some time ago. At that time, I found who I need. Oh, this is good. So she says, hey, at the time, I found who I needed and got to work. Now I'm expanding again and wanted to call those I didn't get to last time as I started marketing again. So she actually basically says, hey, you missed it last time, but I'm giving you a second chance this time, and thought I'd reach out to you. You were on my list to give a call, next in line. So that's I think a really good, it might make them feel good about themselves as well as it's very honest. And, that's true. She was working with people that actually did respond, and they were taking up her time. And now they've either moved on or enrolled, and she's moving back into more marketing. So that's all true, and it's transparent and it's honest, even though it's sleight of hand. So I think it's awesome. So great comment, Keely. That's awesome. Cool. Oh yeah. And Charlene says, cool, super helpful. Awesome, you guys. So, as I was saying earlier, I love it when you guys, I just think chat is a great way to have a mastermind in a training. So that's I appreciate the interaction. So I remember when I started my team call, I had my very first sale, and I guess it wasn't my first sale. My first sale was a UGA Essentials in 2016, and that person fell off. I don't even know if they made their first payment. But I got a couple named Todd and Lucy. Probably took me 3 months to close Todd. And I hadn't started my team call yet. I had a couple people on my team. I think one was a retail sale. And he was a full combo. I don't really remember the order in 2016, but I'll tell you, I started a team call, and there would be Todd and Lucy were sometimes the only people on that call. It was the three of us. And I remember saying to myself that I don't even know, I've never done it before. I've never built a marketing team in Renatus in the 8 years that I had been with the company previously. 5 of which I actually, worked 2008 to 2011. I worked in the business and was doing presentations and things, but I was primarily real estate, as you guys know. And so I got on the call, and I was like, I don't know what this call looks like. I don't know what I don't know what we're going to do. I know is I'm going to do it, whether you're here or not. And I felt like that was the strongest way for me to keep my team connected and engaged in the events, and to mastermind and to grow together. And I've never looked back, and I've never missed that call, whether it was only me, or if it was me and one guy and girl, or if it ended up being my whole team. And so I totally recommend, if you're 5-star qualified, you either bring your team onto your existing team call. Like my team right now, they still work pretty full time. So my guys that are 5-star qualified are still bringing their team members onto my call. And I still recommend that right away, as well, when you're first 5-star. But in this particular case, I was one of the the leaders, and there wasn't another team call to get on. So I started it. So for example, this call every Monday through Thursday is a great call, but I have a smaller team call that I do. And so, I recommend that. It's going to help you grow as a leader, and it's going to help them grow into a leader as well. And when they're 5-star qualified, and I think it'll help them get 5-star qualified faster. So, that's something to look forward to, and it'll depend on your time frame. Like I said, my guys that are just getting 5-star qualified now are not starting their own team call yet. First of all, they haven't had their first sale. They're just getting started, right? Once you get 5-star qualified, you simply are literally starting over again. Like Michael said before, and I alluded to in the beginning of the call, you never stop. You're always going. Okay, here's another question. One more. What's your perfect balance between doing marketing and real estate, being that both need so much attention? So I've had that question before, and it's an amazing question. So number one is there's no perfect balance. Number two is I believe it's going to depend on you and your family. I got to be honest, you guys, my family sacrificed, and I forced them to sacrifice time with me over the last 10 years building this. So it's worth it, and it will come for you, and you will get the results that you want with the Renata systems in place if you don't ever learn to quit. And secondly, while you're never learning to quit, you're taking action. The balance between real estate and marketing, they both take a lot of time, like you said. And so, if you think about it, most of you are getting started or have been going, right? And you're studying your education, if that's taking your time, or you've studied the education and you're already on your first or second or fifth deal, whatever it is. And that starts to take grow time in. In my opinion, don't ever lose sight of the marketing. I know far too many people that get involved in their deal, and they spend so much time at their deal and working on their deal physically, they don't go to meetings. I disagree. I never ever missed meetings when I did full-time real estate. I didn't market full-time. I marketed word of mouth and 3-foot rule, but I didn't place Craigslist ad in 2008 through 2011. There was one section of time when I did do it. I'll explain that, but I always did word of mouth, but I never missed the meetings and I never missed the events. I don't even know why, except for the fact that I knew that I could grow my business there, my real estate business. So number one is the marketing and the real estate both need a commitment from you guys. And so when you heard Michael, and I always use Michael just because it's easier, but when you listen to Christian stories and listen to the leaders, Michael shot up his TV and his Xbox, right? He committed 100%. When I decided to do marketing in 2016 and re-engage in Renata's full time, and create a marketing business and get on the pit, I didn't stop my real estate. There was no way my wife was going to let me stop my real estate because it brings in, several $100,000 a year, and it's my bread and butter. So why would I quit it? So if I'm going to add something into it and I'm going to do something new, then I have to obviously, I have to sacrifice part of my time because my days aren't getting any longer. I have to add it in. So you guys, I'm a sports freak. I just won again. I bet every week. I won some pretty good bets this week, and I actually won my pool again this week. Not fantasy, but my betting pool. But I missed events all the time. There was a Michigan State. I went to Michigan State. They played here against ASU. I missed that game. Right? There are sporting events that I miss all the time. I quit playing hockey because hockey was on Thursday night. And when I re-engaged with Renatus, it wasn't conducive. I couldn't do it. There has to be a commitment, and you will sacrifice some of the things that are the most important things to you. Watching certain things on TV. You know what I mean? I don't watch college football on Saturdays. I miss it. So when I'm at the leadership table and I have a presentation, I'm either working on my presentation, I might have it on my phone, and Dave Jaquish and I joke around and look at the Wisconsin game and the Michigan State game and stuff like that, but I'm not watching it. I'm missing out, right? But this becomes more important. It's become a reason, and something I want to do, because in the future I can watch whatever I want. You know, I mean, we just flew out to watch the Notre Dame USC game over Thanksgiving. You know, I've been able to do a lot of things financially because of the sacrifices I've made over the last 10 years that I wouldn't normally be able to do if I didn't make those sacrifices. So the balance is, I work 2 full-time jobs. I work a full-time marketing job and I work a full-time real estate job. Don't forget, some of you might be a little bit off mute. It does help to mute yourself out if you can hear me. That would be fantastic. I'll look for it. Anyway, I didn't see the mute. So this question is incredible. The way that I balance it is this: you've got to have leads for both, and they're 2 separate businesses. And what I'll find, I can guarantee you this, my experience has been that my business of real estate is what I know best. So naturally, humanly, we are gonna do what we know best and we're more comfortable with. So it is a pressure. Until it becomes a habit, you have to commit to doing it and force yourself to do the thing that isn't as natural. So, you know, for me, marketing wasn't my first priority. It was always real estate, because I knew it. I knew it made me money. I knew what my result was going to be. I knew how to do it. And so in order to make calls, I'd have to stop doing real estate and take time out of my day to do calls. So, but the commitment is there for both. And I have to place an ad on Craigslist every other week like I do. From 2016 till this $40,000 a month, I have placed an ad on Craigslist almost to the T every 2 weeks. Lately, I haven't placed that ad as much because I've been working with my team and Warm Market, and I've had an incredible amount of work to be done with my existing Warm Market as well as my team's leads and helping them. But, you know, like Bob says, you never, ever want to fall into that trap of working only with your team. This past 2 months, I've had 4 full direct sale combos, and then 3 of them from my Warm Market. So, I mean, from my team. So my point is that I'm still doing both when it comes to how that is don't forget, if you want to check if you guys can hear me, if you want to check your mute button, let me see if I can find that. It is hard, and so before we can let's see, I didn't see it. It looks like they might have muted out now. Thank you. Awesome, Leilani. I hope that helps. So, Charlene, I think it's a great question, and it takes a longer answer. The balance is that if you focus, you guys, if you get your street sign out there that says, you know, I buy houses cash. Do whatever real estate marketing you're doing for leads, especially on Facebook and Warm Market, and letting people know that you're into buying houses. You know, Keely's experiencing this too. The marketing follows suit, and you begin to meet realtors, right? Ron just enrolled a realtor, Carrie, that he met by trying to go look at a house And he had a signature comment about, training students in real estate investing on his email. And she wasn't even the agent that was listing the property. She just happened to be one that was an alternative to open the house up for him to see it. And he may or may not even be buying that house. He was just going to check out this property that could have been a potential deal. And he ended up with a Renatus client. Your Renatus business will grow exponentially through your real estate efforts. They feed each other. Even if you're not doing deals and you are simply going out and looking at property, you are going out and you can go to new build home tours. You can go to open houses. You can drive by. You can call listing agents and call on their house and just ask them what the price is and if they could show you the property, and you can create a lead. You guys, it's so amazing what can happen when you're doing your real estate, action steps from your education. And so you're marketing, but accidentally. Now, you don't want to rely on just that accidental marketing through your real estate business, but you want to have a campaign in your marketing that is deliberate and on purpose, which is your list and your cold lead, where you have multiple leads coming in, but you're going to have a direct connection to everybody related to you in your real estate business from your marketing, from your real estate business for your marketing efforts that are going to be effortless in the marketing because they are already interested in real estate, because that's where you met these folks, was in a real estate world. I'm talking about loan officers getting qualified for a loan. If you're just going to try to even get yourself to see what kind of house you could buy, if you've never bought a house or you're going to buy your first rental, even if you don't have a down payment, go through the steps, meet loan officers, call on agents, call listing. I would meet people all the time. I still to this day, I call every single street sign out there to find out what they're selling. And I know for a fact that they have a sign up that says, fix and flip deal, worth $250, buy it for $100, and they don't have that house. It's just a marketing sign. But I end up inviting some of those guys, and I can't say that any of them off the top of my head have ever enrolled in Renatus. But my point is, I get the practice in their 3-foot rule. They go into my phone. I got a new lead. I got a new marketer. I mean, a new 3-foot rule, and your real estate business will feed it. And that's the balance. And you'll find that the marketing will grow into your $10,000 a month. It will grow into your $40,000 a month, and it will be leveraged, and it will become with less effort. And all of you are building, I like to call it the tsunami, right? You cannot see the results of your efforts so far, but they didn't go away. They are there from months and weeks and even a year or two of effort in marketing. And they're there, like Charlene said about his old leads. They are there. That's your tsunami. And when you're 5-star, and when you start to have the quick sales that come in, maybe someone sees 1 or 2 events and they're ready to go, and they're a raw client, they're ready, able, and willing, and they can fund right there. And then all of a sudden, this other guy will call you back up, or you'll get a text, or you'll be like, "Hey man, I want to come to a meeting. I know it's been a year," and this will build on it. And that's how you have, a $10,000 a month, and then you have a $50,000 a year, and then you have a $40,000 a month, and then you have a $120,000 a year. And that's how Michael and Scott and John and Mitch and everybody starts to, their business builds on year after year after year after year. And then all we hear about is when we see the building, but we miss the whole time when they were digging the foundation and digging out the hole and leveling the old playing ground and the old building that was on the plot of land. And we missed all that. We didn't see all that happening because it wasn't glamorous. It wasn't something we were interested in. We didn't pay much attention to that. All we see is when the beautiful building is up and the lights are on and people are coming in and out of the building and everything. And that's the $100,000 a month and the $500,000 a year and up on stage and the 5-star and the top 5 and things like that. That's what we see and hear about and is exploited. But we missed all the work that they did before. Even the scraping of the old building is knocking down our old walls and transforming our human body and our human mind into the person we're going to become in Renatus. And that's the scraping down of the old building. We bought this piece of crap house that had a really good foundation, a really good lot, and a really good location. And that's you. That's who you are. And then you get rid of all that. But no, that's not sexy. That's not glamorous. That's work. That's the crap we got to go through. But man, once you get the permits and you get the training and all that stuff, and you start to, build, it starts to the building starts to get built and things start to pop out of the ground and glass doors and windows get put on the building. That's when you'll experience the tidal wave and the tsunami that you created over the last whatever time it's been building your business. And that's how you'll experience a $40,000 a month or more. So with that, you guys, it's 9:02. I just can't tell you how much I appreciate everybody on this line and how grateful I am to be able to be out here, how thankful I am for Michael and Christian to ask me to come and share with you guys every week. And your participation and your, you guys being on this call just means so much, and your questions and your thoughts and comments, everybody. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. I love your questions. You guys rock. You're welcome, Mark. Thank you. Yeah.
Hey, Bill, wanted to let you know, man, thank you so much, man, for taking the time out to train us and talk to us and answer all our questions, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, bro. Thank you. You're so welcome. You're so welcome. You're welcome, Sandra, as always. You're an inspiration, Sandra. Keep it up. You're awesome. You guys are also awesome. Everybody have a great morning. Have a great day. Have a great week. Ulani, thank you. I'll talk to you soon. And everybody, make it great. Keep up the great year, and go do what Michael said, and go get all your orders funded that you guys put in. Have a great day. Thanks for being here. Thanks for your time. You're welcome, Sharon.